The pandemic has caused a lot of innovative problem solvers, and my guests today, you are looking at a pair of those. And they have developed an app that is changing the game in tennis, and we're going to talk all about that in just a moment. Lindsay Lee-Waters, former top 35 WTA player, along with her husband Heath, are joining me. I'm Bryan Fenley. I'm a tennis broadcaster, and I'm also an anchor for Fox Sports Radio. So Lindsay and Heath, first of all, thanks for doing this and really appreciate it. Want to ask you about the app, obviously, and what you're doing in the tennis field. But when I was doing some research on both of you, I came across, Lindsay, your profile on WTA's website. And I'm going to read a little snippet for you. It says, and I want to ask you if this still applies today, because I have a feeling it does. Self-described as a genuine person who loves to laugh. And then it goes on to say, most admires her husband, who she describes as an eternal optimist and a resilient person who pursues life with determination. I guess now it all makes sense why you two make such a great pair.
It must have been 20 years ago. I don't know if that's still
Did I write that? No.
Who wrote that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
think I wrote it.
No, I still believe that 100%. No question.
Oh, I love it. So both of you are working on this app, and what is it doing as far as changing the game in tennis, making it more manageable, more accessible for people during this COVID-19 climate?
Yeah, we started a match tennis app. I was traveling on tour and trying to the idea came from, I was trying to manage my own schedule, and we have 2 kids and they were playing all sports, and it was just going to different sites with the tennis and trying to figure out rankings, what tournaments they were going to get in. And we just were spending so many hours and missing entry deadlines, and there were a lot of things, and really that was where the idea came in, to really save time and help parents and coaches and tournament directors. We've kind of,
it was overwhelming, to manage all of that. She was back then she had one kid got to top 100 in the world, had another kid got back to top 100 in the world. And, a lot of people have one getting 2, and then they started growing and started playing. And it just was, craziness and overwhelming to manage it all. And in tennis in particular, there's not just one place you can go from 5 years old and manage all the way up to a professional level. You got to go to 100 different websites at a different time. Well, the app is kind of basically like a Yahoo portal for tennis. You can go get entertainment, you can get stocks, you can get news, whatever you might need, but you don't have to go to all different sites. You can get it all right there. And so we wanted to increase and enhance the quality of experience for all the participants in the sport. And so that's how it was birthed.
How vast and widespread has this app become as far as being adopted by this tennis players across the country, the world, and such like that?
Yeah, I mean, we live in Atlanta, Georgia. We started in the South, and then it's grown, throughout nationwide. And then during the pandemic, we worked with a lot of tournament directors and talking to a lot of parents that were in our app, and just really tournaments were about to start back, and we were thinking about how can we get it back safe, where, there's a lot of older tournament directors and referees and volunteers and
higher risk,
higher risk, and, the players going back to their families. So that's kind of where we started Virtual Tournament Desk. And
we created, so in the pandemic season, our son plays, he's a very high level player, and he was driving us nuts, really, because he couldn't play tournaments, and he practices every day. But you have a lot of kids across the country, and not just tennis, but all sports, really, right? Mm-hmm. And they simply, all these kids, here it is in the spring, and during the summer when all the national events come, and that's when all the college coaches, they typically in the past have always come to recruit. Well, all these kids' dreams were being squashed because of the pandemic. And so our objective, we knew right away within a couple of weeks, seeing what was being said, this could be a year, this could be 6. well, we wanted to, get busy since we have a technology company and create something and to where we could follow the CDC best practices and guidelines and create to facilitate social distancing through technology. And so we were able to do that in a very short amount of time. And then we, because of that, we kind of partnered with USTA, the major sections, California and Texas and Florida, and even up there in New York, the USDA Eastern section in the South. And so what happened was we got tennis going back June 1st. And so far to date is because here's how it works. The biggest bottleneck at a tournament is the tournament desk. People come in, check in, get T-shirts, they sign waivers and all that kind of stuff. They find out their scores when they play, and then they report their scores, all that kind of stuff. Well, we eliminated the physical tournament desk and created a virtual tournament desk. And so that's kind of what's going on, yes. And it's, to date, not one player has transferred or at a VTD tournament, virtual tournament desk tournament, no one has transferred or caught the COVID. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely amazing work you all are doing. I want to ask you about how you're aiding college athletes or high school rising college tennis athletes to being discovered through these tournaments, and this all being possible in large part by your app, but also the technology behind it. I was reading something, was it Heath, your brother, who helped devise the layout of this, and something to do with NCAA football? Take us through how that all became part of what you did here to make this happen.
So my twin brother actually is a developer, and he's got a team, and he actually he lives in Costa Rica. He's like the alpha male over there. He's married and got a kid, and he's a triathlete and all that. But he's behind the desk all the time, so that's probably why he does that as his release. But he wrote but he used to be in tennis, 25 years ago. And what happened was he wrote a program, back about 20 years ago, and started to get a lot of interest. And it went on to be very successful as a recruiting app or application that the last 12 NCAA champions, Nick Saban and all those guys, they're using their app to recruit their player, the app that he created and wrote the programming for. And so he has a very vast experience in the NCAA world, in football mainly, but he understands all the rules and regulations that go along with it. And so we've taken that same concept and put it for free inside of our app to help people pursue getting college scholarships in the sport of tennis. And man, we have some really amazing stories that are going on with connecting people with college coaches that they never would have been able to do before.
Lindsay Lee-Waters, her husband Heath, with me. Let's go right to that. What's a story, a profound one, that jumps to mind as far as making those connections between college coaches and prospective recruits, in what you've done has made that possible?
Yeah. You mean to tell about Maria? That's the
Yeah. One of the reasons inside our app, we call it Match You, College Connect. And one of the reasons, it's really dear to my heart and Heath as well, is because for me growing up, whenever I was 16, 17, I was top in the nation. So the colleges are coming to you. They're knocking on your door. They're sending you letters.
When you're that high of a level.
When you're that high. Yeah. So the players that maybe started later or just loved tennis and maybe didn't reach the top in the nation or high enough to play, where the coaches are coming after them.
Yes.
That they're still really, we wanted that Match You for them to connect with the colleges, that they can get some sort of scholarship, money towards, and still play tennis and improve,
because really that's the majority of people. You got the top 10 in the nation. You don't have to they come after you. You don't have to seek. They're seeking you. They're knocking down your door trying to get you to come to their school. But it's the majority, the other 10,000 kids that are the mass majority that we're trying to go to bat for with College Connect, Match You.
And maybe you share that story.
Yeah, Maria, this is an example. This is an adopted young lady who wasn't necessarily the highest rated. She was in, they have a thing. So basically what the college coaches are going for in the sport of tennis, they're going for SAT, GPA, ACT scores, so your academic metrics. And they have the ITA signed a deal with the UTR, which is a rating system that you can be rated. And basically that tells you your playing metric, right? And sight unseen, if you're a 0 or 1 all the way up to 16, like Federer, Nadal, or 15, 16 level. But this little girl was, her senior year, and she didn't have a college. She didn't know where to, what to do when to do what and where to look. And she was only a 7 UTR, which isn't extremely high for getting scholarships. But what she found out through her exploration using the app, you can go in and you fill out your profile, your academic profile, and your playing profile. It automatically pulls in your UTR rating, and you just push a button. And it will show you every school that your academics will get you into, because she also, wasn't a straight A student. So she was a B student or so. But what she wanted, she said, okay, she put this inside of the app. You can do this too, radius. So she said, I want to look for a school within 2-hour driving distance of Atlanta, Georgia. So just, somewhere like South Carolina, Alabama, North Carolina, something like that, Tennessee. And then she said, I want to get a physical therapy degree. So you can go through our app and you can click on every school. It tells you the in-state tuition, out-of-state tuition. You click the button and see what degrees they offer. But what's even neater is you can reach out to the coach right there and send them. We have a template email that kind of get them started. And we met with university coaches for about 12 months to get everything that they wanted from the players to put in here. So we're pulling all that data, and you push a button and it sends the coach an email, lets them know. You can send it out to 10 different schools, and then it'll let them know. It'll let the player know when that coach opens that email, and that kind of shows interest, like, hey, I'm interested. Well, what was so cool is she went to 4 schools in 1 week. And she would have never even thought of going to these schools, because it was a NAIA school, a couple of NAIA schools, a couple Division II schools, because, again, she wasn't high rated, but she could still get an academic or a tennis scholarship. She just didn't know it. And she ended up getting 3 offers for a scholarship that first week when she went and did her unofficial visits. And she ended up at a really nice school that actually the dean or the president of the school came out and helped walk her along the tour, because it was a small school, and she's actually on an 85% scholarship and just made quarterfinals of the NAIA tournament last week, and just in dream world for her. Yeah, so pretty exciting stuff.
Just a taste of the many widespread benefits of your app. For those who are not technologically savvy, how do they find your app? Where can they download it?
Yeah, you just go to matchtennisapp.com and you register we have a free version. And then if you like it, it has basic features. And if you enjoy it, then you can upgrade and, pay the $10 a month.
Yeah, so there's a free basic plan that you can. First of all, if you go through the USTA, like at these tournaments, you get free for life, and you can stay basic free. If you go organically, like through Google or something, you put a credit card in, you get a free 30-day trial. We have premium features, and we have a basic free feature. Basic free features. The whatever that's called, the Match You is included for free. But also things like this. Say that Bryan wants to play a match with somebody within a 10-mile radius at his level. Well, you can just put in, search for players, whatever your level is, in 10-mile radius of your zip code. It displays all the players. You just send a message, hey, I want to play, let's go. And so it's a pretty cool connection service like that as well.
I want to ask you as well, while I have you, Lindsay, your experience is playing in World Team Tennis and having the opportunity to team up with Bob Bryan. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, man, it was, I was contacted to fill in for 3 matches for, I think it was Kansas City. And I didn't realize until the day I got there that I would be playing with Bob Bryan. And yeah, I was very nervous because obviously, their records are incredible, but they were so down to earth and so giving, and they really helped me so much. So when I played with Bob, I can remember we were playing against Leander Paes and I think it was Renee Stubbs, and it was a tight match and it was close and I was nervous, and he walked back and he's like, don't worry about it. He's like, whatever you do, go for it, hit the ball, so just those little things that he didn't really have to do, and just really encouraging and very positive. So it definitely helped me. I think I went on to go win a tournament after I left there. So
just so fired
I'll
up.
give it to him.
So fired up.
But yeah.
He got a commission. Yeah.
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 Well, yeah.
Now that the Bryan brothers have announced their retirement, how would you begin to summarize their impact on the game?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I've looked up to them from when they started. We're around the same age, and they've just inspired so many young kids. They've played for so long and done so much for the game, not only on the court, but off the court. And, just especially even the double side of it, because I kind of looked up to them with the doubles and
she copied their plays, their patterns. She didn't do the chest bump, but did you do the chest bump?
No, didn't do that.
Didn't think you did the chest bump. Can I say something on that? Wayne Bryan, their father, was really impactful. I remember going probably 20 years ago, and he had them in there at a junior tournament. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget this. I use this because I coach still. I still use this to this day. Wayne Bryan's their dad, and he really had a neat approach about motivating kids. And he was so consumed with nurturing the love of the game. And so, you get a lot of parents who are just win, 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 win. Mm-hmm. He believed in grow the love, and then they will compete. No kid wants to lose, right? And so, but what he did, he said this. He would always, took them to college tennis matches, and he called it side door motivation. That was his thing, to always take kids and get them, show them the next level, take them to the U.S. Open, take them to, they went to Stanford matches and watched that as young kids, but it got them, that's one of the reasons they played doubles, because they got to see all those college doubles matches, and they was like people ringing cowbells. It's a little more exciting than a regular doubles match at a U.S. Open, as much, because they don't get as rowdy. But I think that's a really neat thing that the Bryans, just in general, of course, they're so talented. They play music. He actually, they were in a band as kids, at 16 years old. Yeah. They were sitting there playing guitar and piano. It was, and everybody says, they're awesome. And so it's pretty cool. They've made a big difference on the sport.
Perhaps those words by Wayne are in large part to why the Bryan brothers had such a long career, because they loved it. When in a sport where you have people burn out, look how long they lasted. And was it 16 Grand Slam doubles titles? And how cool for you, Lindsay, to play a part in their playing career. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Bryan Fenley. This, of course, Lindsay Lee-Waters, her husband, Heath. I urge everyone to go download their app. If you consider yourself a tennis fan, this is your number one destination for all things tennis. It's a growing enterprise, and I can't wait to see this thing continue to bloom. Lindsay and Heath, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Bryan.
Have a great day. Thank you, Bryan.